5 News at noon starts now.
Right now at noon, members of the Arkansas National Guard are leaving for the nation's capital. 5 News reporter Jacob Luthi will share more about their mission. Plus, Arkansas has announced its new head football coach. 5 News reporter Emily Moss shares how fans are reacting. Thank you for joining us for your 5 News at noon. I'm Morgan Wrigley here with meteorologist Danny Cassidy.
Hello.
We got something today.
Yes.
I told Danny I don't know exactly what that was. You do.
We got a lot of everything. We've got a little bit of maybe some very light flakes. I saw pictures of sleet, grapple, which is just like another form of sleet, really. Freezing rain, we got it all, Morgan.
Something cold was coming down from the sky.
Yes,
today.
it was something cold. Unfortunately, if you wanted that widespread snow, we'll probably have to wait later into the deeper winter. But we'll show you what's going on right now across the region. We'll show you what it kind of looks like out here because it's kind of deceiving. That was kind of the story of today, where it was going to be very light. So here's a live look along I-40 at exit 37 in Ozark. And you're noticing that traffic's moving smoothly and you're not really seeing anything. But that's the thing, is that it was so light today that it was really hard to see unless maybe you were driving and it kind of came down on your windshield. But it's still really light right now. Now, thankfully, in the River Valley, temperatures are remaining above freezing, so that's helping it not stick. In northwest Arkansas, however, that is near or below freezing, so that's why things were a lot slicker in northwest Arkansas. We saw numerous accidents up there. Now, thankfully, that is starting to diminish a little bit. Now, you notice it's a lot more spotty than it was recently, but with those temperatures still at or below freezing, we'll have to keep an eye on this through the rest of the afternoon. But again, it's becoming a lot less, and it's becoming a little bit drier as well, so not as much of it is falling as earlier this morning. The River Valley, a little bit more abundant, but still, again, it's a lot lighter than this morning. It'll continue to kind of spread out. Once we get past, let's say, this cell right here, just up the west of eastern Oklahoma, I think we'll be, for the most part, done for the afternoon. But that winter weather advisory for much of the area goes through 3 p.m. There are some counties here in Scott and Logan and Johnson County that technically go through 6 a.m., but really it's through sunset, then they'll stop falling. I think the worst of the impacts will be over. But we'll talk more about what the rest of the afternoon looks like and get you ready for the rest of the week coming up in your full forecast. Morgan.
Thanks, Danny. And slick spots this morning led to several crashes and slowdowns all across the area. Traffic was stacked up for many people on their morning commute today. We have video this is from RDOT. We also have video from 5 News reporter Bo Russell, who's speaking with RDOT today. He's out on the road right now. They're talking about road conditions. And spokesperson Dave Parker tells them crews have been out today putting down salt and brine where they can. But with these conditions, those road conditions can change fast. We'll be tracking them tonight, and we're following the latest traffic updates on our website, 5newsonline.com. The Arkansas Army National Guard is getting set to deploy from the state and head to the nation's capital. 5 News reporter Jacob Luthi was at that departure ceremony today and has more on their mission.
The over 100 National Guardsmen, I'm told, not only volunteered to go, but are also from our area. They'll be heading to the nation's capital for their civil security operations. Guardsmen from the 142nd Field Artillery Brigade are preparing to deploy to the nation's capital. Officials say their assignment will mirror previous missions, supporting law enforcement with security in high traffic areas, including the National Mall and metro stations. Over the past month, Guardsmen have completed administrative processing, medical and dental readiness checks, and mission-specific training. This deployment comes 1 week after a deadly ambush-style attack on 2 D.C. Guardsmen. 20-year-old Army Specialist Sarah Beckstrom was killed. Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf remains hospitalized. Lieutenant Colonel Brian Lawrence says his soldiers understand the risks, but remain ready and eager to serve.
Especially as a commander, it means a lot to me. I didn't have to ask anyone to go. I didn't have to tell anyone to go. They all raised their hand and volunteered, and they did it really quick. They were really excited. Originally I had 20 people. Next thing I know, I had well over 100 in a matter of days. And that just shows the testament of the soldiers of the 2nd and 142nd Field Artillery.
This mission is expected to last several months. The Guardsmen will be rotating in, replacing those that have been there since August. In Fort Smith, covering news where you live, Jacob Luthi, 5 News.
Lawmakers are demanding answers after new questions about the legality of U.S. strikes on alleged Venezuelan drug boats. President Trump is considering options beyond the strikes, blaming Venezuela for sending criminals and drugs into the U.S. The U.S. military has carried out nearly 24 airstrikes on alleged drug boats near Venezuela, killing more than 80 people. The first strike back in September is raising questions, with reports claiming Defense Secretary Hegseth gave an order to kill everyone on board. When 2 survived, a second strike was carried out. Lawmakers have called for investigations.
This rises to the level of a war crime if it's true.
Hegseth and other top deputies are expected at the White House this afternoon as President Trump considers his next steps. He's also warned airlines and pilots to treat Venezuelan airspace as closed, but declined to say if future strikes are planned. Russian missiles and drones continue to bombard Ukrainian cities even as U.S. negotiators try to broker a deal between the two sides. The latest attack overnight killed 3 people. Holly Williams is inside Ukraine to see the situation after nearly 4 years of war.
Russian missiles rained down on Ukraine's capital, Kyiv, this past weekend, sending people underground for shelter to the city's subway system. Yet after meeting Ukrainian negotiators in Florida, the Secretary of State said he's optimistic about brokering a peace deal.
We don't just want to end the war, we also want to help Ukraine be safe forever, so never again will they face another invasion.
But many Ukrainians are angry. They say that President Trump's original peace plan put forward last month does not guarantee their safety and effectively rewards Vladimir Putin for his invasion by handing over swaths of Ukrainian territory permanently to Russia. Places like Luhansk, where the Russian occupiers are indoctrinating Ukrainian children. Andriy Diktiarenko is a Ukrainian journalist who fled Russian-occupied territory and now documents the lives of those who stayed behind, including, he told us, torture by the authorities.
When President Trump talks about doing a peace deal in Ukraine, he talks about land swaps. Is it just land?
Of course it's not land, it's people, even millions of people, whose future will be crossed by this decision.
President Trump's special envoy, Steve Witkoff, is headed to Russia today and will meet with Vladimir Putin tomorrow, according to the Kremlin. There are peace negotiations, but here in Ukraine, there is no peace because nowhere is safe from Russia's relentless bombing. Holly Williams, CBS News, Lviv, Ukraine.
Arkansas has named its new football head coach, Ryan Silverfield. Currently serving as Memphis head coach, Silverfield will lead the Razorbacks next season. The Razorback announcement came as a shock to fans this weekend, with some even taking to the streets Sunday to protest the decision. A little over 24 fans gathered outside the Jones Center with signs calling for the termination of the university's athletic director, Hunter Yurachek, as well as pleas to keep the interim coach, Bobby Petrino. We spoke to several fans, both at the protest and on the streets, who say they're split on this decision. There hasn't been any direct response from the university about the reaction to the choice. But we do know Silverfield met with the team this weekend, and the university is planning his official welcome stream this Thursday. The 5 News Sports team will be following Coach Silverfield as his new staff begins to take shape, and we learn more about next year's roster. You can follow all of our coverage of the Razorbacks right here on 5 News Plus. The state auditor's office in Arkansas says it has now returned $100 million in unclaimed property. The money comes from things like old paychecks, forgotten deposits, and inheritances that never made it to their owners. State leaders say they are seeing strong results as more people check the state's website and file claims.
The claim to fame is the Great Arkansas Treasure Hunt, which technically is unclaimed property. And that's probably the most fun of the office, is getting Arkansans back their money.
Officials say the milestone is encouraging, and their office is already working toward returning the next $100 million. Former President Barack Obama will be in Northwest Arkansas today, speaking at the Crystal Bridges Museum of Art in Bentonville. Obama is set to speak as part of the museum's new Building Bridges lecture series. It will be his first visit to Arkansas since visiting parts of the state that were hit by a tornado outbreak when he was president in 2014. And the Rodeo of the Ozarks cartoon Christmas parade will roll into downtown Springdale today. The event got moved from Saturday due to rain chances, but organizers say the route will stay the same. It'll be going down Emma Avenue, and they're expecting over 30 floats for this parade. However, the Rodeo of the Ozarks says they're not allowing any horses at the event due to concerns about an equine herpes outbreak. The city of Fort Smith is gearing up to celebrate its 26th year of the Creekmore Holiday Express. Opening night is tonight. Crews have been hard at work putting the finishing touches on the Winter Wonderland, with the mayor on hand to flip the switch tonight. After that, the Creekmore Express will be open Monday through Saturday until December 27th, with the only exceptions being Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Also today, a local face will be appearing on your screen on an episode of Jeopardy! Brendan Thomas of Fayetteville, pictured here with host Ken Jennings. You can tune in to see how he did right here on Channel 5. That airs at 4:30 right after your 5 News First at 4.